All right, everyone, welcome back to another Complexity Cast presentation, bringing you some replays out of Dreamhack Winter. Today we do have ORGE eSports Malaysia going up against the American, European hope, whatever you want to call him, Gary Johnson 2012. And of course, joining me today is going to be my co-caster, Emperor, aka Brized, from Domain of Pain. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Beef. Looking forward to casting these games. How about you?
You know what? I am as well. Watched some DreamHack action this weekend. Didn't watch others, so we're kind of going back through and casting some of the games that we didn't get to watch. I'm looking forward to this because these are two very, very strong teams. I think we've picked out about 5 or 6 replay series that we might be casting over the next few days. And, you know, ORGE Esports versus Gary Johnson, two teams that are very, very strong, and I'm looking forward to seeing these games.
Right, right. We already went ahead with the blind bans here. ORGE Esports winding up banning Tempest and Keeper of the Forest, two of the pretty much go-to junglers right now in today's metagame. Keeper especially known for having a multitude of uses. I mean, Tempest as well, suicide or jungle lane, so they provide a lot of versatility in the drafting phase. Both decent suicides, especially Keeper of the Forest is a pain. Tundra and Wild Soul being considered god-tier heroes in their own right, so nothing too crazy there, but I do like the Tempest and Keeper bans coming out of Orange.
Yeah, I like those as well. Like you said, I mean, Keeper of the Forest and Wild Soul, two heroes that over the past few weeks have just shown to be the best suicide possible, utilizing that ability to just continually pull the creep wave back and get that experience, something that teams do not want to have to deal with. If you have a hero down there, you don't want to have to mess with that. What's
Another
up?
aspect of those bans is Swindle's sort of known for his Tempest. In general, they're known for Z-Freak being a dedicated jungler player, pretty much never seen in the lane. If they're banning out Tempest and Keeper there, they can sort of suspect that they might be pulling out a Legionnaire, they might be pulling out a War Beast, something like that out of Z-Freak instead, which they might be better prepared for.
Yeah, and Legionnaire, certainly a possibility, as I actually heard talk around the Complexity Campfire that Beacon was very, very scared of Z-Freak's Legionnaire. So we'll see if it does come out in this game, but the lock pool already going through. I actually have a bug on my screen where I can't see the locks.
If you click to the chat and then click back to the game, you should be able to see it.
Literally.
The locks were Orange locking Bubbles, Ophelia, Deadwood, Swindleman's locking Fade, Pebbles, and Parasite. So pretty interesting locks there with both Fade and Pebbles. Fade's probably stronger than Pebbles, I would say, but there's a lot of really first pick quality heroes in that lock pool. So, you know, Vote still has a great selection, even though Orange has first pick.
Yeah, and Fade making it in there. That's not a hero that you see making it into the lock pool very often. We'll see if either of these teams choose to pick her up and exactly how they use her. And somebody else that's on the board actually making it through the banning phase, locking phase right here is Nymphora, a hero that a lot of teams like to run with that
And
Fade.
it synergizes beautifully with both Fade and Pebbles.
Yeah.
Real quick here, the bans Plague Rider, another suicide hero locked out. Makes the lanes a little bit more predictable once again coming out. Bubbles has a little bit more value as a suicide hero in this pool, given that Keeper and Tempest, all of those heroes, Plague Rider, Wild Soul are all banned. The Draconis and Silhouette, the two go-to range carries, also banned out. Silhouette especially known for being quite cheesy. Vote known for using that Trumbull as well. DS, another one of those heroes, is they like to run push strats. Zephyr also getting a lot of popularity lately.
Yeah, Zephyr, it almost seems like we're kind of returning toward that tanky metagame a little bit with Zephyr making his way back in there. And he was really the talk of the town in the week upcoming toward DreamHack Winter, with which teams are going to get that. TDM showing even in the lower bracket finals that they were able to, the lower bracket finals of Haunter qualifiers, that they were able to get in there and make that bird do some work, eliminating complexity from that tournament. So no Zephyr in this one, though, and picks already starting to come out there. Looks like first pick was actually Glacius. What do you think about that one?
I think it's pretty strong. It's a pretty versatile laner. I actually like the NG pick a lot for some of those deadly dual lanes in mid. Glacius, I would say, lanes a little bit better with Meraxis than a Luna in middle. Gives them a little bit stronger of a mid lane core if that's what they're going for. Whereas NG, I mean, there's Magnus in the pool. There's some other options as well. And NG, ever since Moon Queen got her 1 second the buff to her moonbeams instead of the 0.6 second, it's actually a lot easier to combo Moon Queen and NG in fights, in lane, things like that. You actually have enough time to land an NG keg off of a Moon Queen nuke now, so it's a lot better synergy going across that way as well.
Yeah, a very, very strong buff to that Moon Queen hero. 1 second as opposed to 0.6, and I mean, that's on a very, very short cooldown. What's the cooldown, like 6 seconds?
It's around 6 or 7 seconds, yeah, and has gigantic range is the best part of it.
and it's pretty much instant.
And especially
I mean,
Engineer knocks him back, slows him, provides so much disable, you're pretty much guaranteed to get 2 nukes off. TDL picked up here. Here we frequently see banned, but people are favoring the ranged carries that can go 1v1 against the suicides more, with the dual mid metagame being more popular in the current play. But TDL is still an incredibly powerful snowball hero in her own right. If she gets the farm she needs early on, there's little one can do to stop her, especially with Silhouette and Draconis both banned out here. I expect to see their mid lane hero picked up here by vote. Oh, no, actually, the Fade or the Pebbles will be the mid lane hero. So they're going to be going for... I honestly can't really say. I would say they're Suicide or their jungler right here. Probably their jungler. It looks like he's highlighting War Beast. I would not be surprised to see Z-Freak play that.
yeah, Warbeast, another one of those very, very strong junglers with that pushing potential and the ability to take it into late game with a very strong carry potential as well. We'll see. As
very good against melee carries as well. TDL, silence doesn't affect him too much. The darkness not so bad. He gets Shrunken Head to dispel it, and he can go toe to toe with a lot of those melee carries. Say he gets his demonic, he gets his brutalizer. He will shut down melee carries pretty hard. So I think he's a pretty good jungler against TDL.
Yeah, and taking it into that late game, we referenced that with that Dark Lady, not as easy to get that farm in the early game, not able to make as much of an impact at, say, 15, 20 minutes into the game as somebody like a Silhouette might, or a Draconis might, if he were to get into those team fights maybe. But come to the late game, Dark Lady nigh unstoppable unless you have something like a Warbeast, like you mentioned, with that
Brutalizer. You can never discount that silence, even in those early fights.
Well, that's very true
Apples
as well.
actually picked up first over Fade by Orange. Really peculiar. I must say they have a Meraxes here. I'm wondering where they're going to do their lanes.
They
could always...
Well, they're not going to have a jungle.
They could put Pebbles or Meraxes. I mean, they're probably going to... No, they're going to put a mid for sure. But they have a TDL as well.
Oh, no. I think Vote just absolutely screwed over Orange's picks, actually.
I don't know that Ophelia is still in the pool.
Okay.
It matters of what are they going to do unless they throw an aggressive tri-lane up there and put something like a TDL against their Suicide. That would be an option, and a Meraxes mid or a Meraxes tri-lane aggressive top with Ophelia. Warbeast is a passive jungler, so whenever I see a passive jungler, I think you can move into the enemy woods with a hero like Elephant, with a hero like Ophelia, with a hero like Parasite, and actually do some work. They don't have a lineup here that's exactly capable of forcing him out of the jungle. So I would expect an aggressive tri-lane, I believe, in order to make this laning phase work the best and sort of throw a vote on the heels.
Well, very, very interesting. We talked a little bit about the Legion team over there, about the Hellborn team. Vote Gary Johnson 2012, leading up with the pink Fade is Swindlemelons, Sender on that Engineer, Kazu, the hard carry player there on that Moon Queen, and Z-Freak going to be on the Warbeast. Skyzo going to take it to the Suicide lane. We already see him down there with his wards, already vendored the boots, and he's going to be dropping that ward, blocking that creep camp. So how do you like the Hellborn team? I mean, we talked about the Legion. How's Hellborn going to stack up?
Hellborn looks okay. If Orange winds up running the aggressive tri-lane top, I actually think they have the laning advantage quite a bit. Fade, a little bit stronger than Pebbles in mid, but I mean, Pebbles has that higher base damage. I mean, he should be able to get last hits just fine. Although I did mention I actually think it's going to... I'm not sure who's going to be in that aggressive tri-lane top, whether it's going to wind up being the Pebbles or the Meraxes. So it depends, but either one of them, they're both going to be able to CS fine against Fade. I expect them to win the top lane, and for TDL to do just fine against the Bubbles if she winds up even soloing down there. I don't even know if she'll wind up doing that, but... Okay, are they actually going with Meraxes Suicide? We'll see. They are moving down bot with Ophelia, and Glacius is sitting mid right now for that initial dual lane. Meraxes Suicide should be fine. I mean, Moon Queen is soloing up there, and Warbeast isn't exactly going to gank him. So, you know, I actually was looking at these lanes all wrong. I think they're fine regardless. Meraxes, even against some tougher matchups, he can work in that Suicide. You know, he still does okay with low resources. As long as he gets his portal key by the mid, the mid part of the mid game, I should say, he is just fine. So I think, I don't know, Fade Engineer incredibly powerful in mid, stronger than Glacius Pebbles. I put that in favor of vote. They do have a passive jungler, and TDL should farm fine on bot, and I do like TDL carry a little bit more than Moon Queen. But I'd say they have pretty fair, even lineups here.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You see the strong carries in the short lane for both. Both lanes have that very strong mid, the stunning ganking lineup mid, and both have that jungler. Warbeast, of course, a little bit more passive than Ophelia, as we already see a Vagabond leader.
Sneaking behind on bubbles there. They didn't put two wards down on bottom. So that's going to give TDL a lot of free farm with Skyzo caught out here.
Yeah, Skyzo already having to use that Shell Surf to get on out of there. The nuke coming out of the Vagabond leader, and might even turn around for a little bit more. Says, I'm not done quite yet, but maybe he is after all. Calls this party out early in the middle. Actually, a little bit of action. The keg gonna land right there. Burning Shadows coming out from Fade in the turret, as well as level 2 Sender. Actually doing a nice job there. And Wang Wang on the Pebbles, missing the Stalagmites. Not something that you want to expend that mana on for a miss right there in the middle lane.
Right. Fade NG definitely a little bit stronger of a lane, but I mean, Pebbles is really tanky. Glacius provides enough support where even if they catch Pebbles out of position, I think Glacius will be able to wind up saving him. And they actually do have kill potential. If one of them steps out of position, like, I would say Fade NG is stronger, but I mean, given one rune for Orange, maybe an Ophelia gank, something like that, they can make stuff happen. And Ophelia can even come behind by the tower if she gets a good creep, so...
Very, very true. Glacius up here camping the top rune. Will he be in luck? He is. There's a regen there, so that's going to be nice if they want to use a little bit of mana and then go make that work for them up top.
One thing I would like to note is they do have an Ophelia on the Legion team, and there is not much AoE coming out of the Hellborn lineup. Ophelia, you know, given level 5, something like that, she can start pressuring those bottom towers, and I don't think Hellborn can do too much to oppose it. NG offers a little bit of AoE, but it's in small AoE. I mean, it's in a small little radius there. And Fade, I mean, her stun doesn't hit the creeps, it's only, and she has to get into melee range to use it, so they really don't have much to hold off pushes here. Not to mention, Moon Queen, sort of, a lot of her ulti damage mitigated by Ophelia.
Very true, and now we see a tornado coming out over here mid. The keg going to be used from Sender to actually interrupt the Vulture Lord from using that tornado mid. I like that. That tornado is very, very annoying. A great anti-push mechanic, but right there, just putting a little bit of harassment out. Taking a look at these side lane solos right now, Bubbles is actually doing not terrible. 9-0 against a 16-1 Dark Lady. Would you expect?
Yeah, I mean, it's still, you look at a very hard carry like Dark Lady farming out, you know, the Suicide Bubbles, and it still looks favorable for...
Oh, mid lane, Stalagmites as well as the Chuck going to be coming out there. One more auto attack, and Wang Wang picking up the kill on Sender, but actually going to pay with it with his life there as Swindlemon's.
You know, actually, in spite of that trade-off, I'd actually consider Vote got the upper hand of that because, you know, their quote-unquote carry hero in mid, the Fade, wind up getting surviving in the end. Whereas the Pebbles did get the kill, but he winded up falling. So, meanwhile, top lane, Warbeast is looking like he's trying to edge out the Meraxes here. I don't know if they're just trying to go behind, lane some auto attacks, block with the Wolves, but he is out of position.
Sender's up there now. The turret going to be coming down, and XXF, the good-looking guy from Malaysia, going to be falling right there as Z-Freak actually brings home that kill on Warbeast, escalating his farm all the way up to 250 GPM right now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, even with Warbeast, people think he can't be an active ganker. Not to say that gank wouldn't have gotten off even without Warbeast's assistance, but, you know, those Wolves are 400 move speed. A lot of times, the hero in that Suicide lane doesn't have boots yet. You can get off a good block. Or sometimes all it takes is a few rounds of auto attacks to get enough damage to drop that hero. So I definitely like seeing him try to be active.
Yeah, Sender making good use of his mobility after he died right there. The enemy team didn't know quite where he was, and putting a kill into XXF up there. Definitely a worthwhile use of his time, as the Suicide Merax is now down to 180 GPM. Skyzo faring a little bit better in the long lane bottom, but now with the invisible Ophelia, she might try to put a little bit of harassment, but with no creeps. I mean, is she really capable of doing anything?
Unless Bubbles has put himself pretty out of position, I would say no. Ophelia did... Yeah, she went with the Judgment build, so she has 150 nuke damage, no slow. But with the silence coming out from TDL, they could definitely drop the Bubbles now that I think about it.
Yeah.
If he didn't manage to land it, so.
Oh, middle lane, Burning Shadows as well as a keg going to come out right there. No turret going to follow up. And they're even going to turn it around as the Imprisonment comes out, the combo from Pebbles, and down goes Swindlebones. But Skyzo TP's in and actually lands a very nice Shell Surf. A couple of auto attacks and maybe one or two more. No, not going to happen.
Out from Glacius.
Yeah.
Not any further auto attack from Bubbles. I think Pebbles is going to be fine either way.
Yeah, it was a nice job there from Skyzo. The Shell Surf to actually get the body block right there was a very good thought, but not quite enough. Meraxis up here taking quite a bit of harassment from this Moon Queen. Has to fall back and potion up.
No health potions, no mana potions, and she's out of mana now, so he doesn't have to fear that ulti. And he's coming really close upon level 6. And Meraxis actually really difficult to gank with that War Beast, with that AoE stun coming out with the shield. War Beast does not do much damage at all with those wolves laying in the autos, so he's going to be really tough to bring down here. I would actually be careful if I was the Moon Queen and he hit 6, because he's sitting on a lot of mana pool right now.
Yeah, Keizu relying maybe on that mobility as she does get boots delivered and a potion right there as well. And a mana potion. Yeah. So Keizu now, not a whole lot more to fear. That Meraxis trying to land some axes.
Top lane, who is looking to set up a gank on Meraxis. Warbeast also getting into position here. He does not have mana for his ulti, though. He's waiting for the Clarity Potion to tick in. And Meraxis seems to know that something's up. He's backing just out of range there behind the river line, so Fade's probably going to have to go return to middle.
Yeah. In the bottom river, Shiyu actually doing a little bit of counter warding right there as Sender on the Engineer wanted to come over and say, hey, can I get you to stop killing that ward? But wasn't going to happen. Sender actually sitting on just 2 Minor Totems, and as opposed to Shiyu, who's actually got that power supply and enough money to actually get a few counter wards down.
Look at the level of Shiyu, level 6. I'd be shaking in my boots if I was Sender. He's level 6 on Glacius. He's higher level than the mid heroes.
Yeah. Actually, a CAD coming out right there as the Burning Shadow's going to be followed up, as well as the Shell Surf. In comes Z-Freak with the ultimate activated. Wang Wang going to fall for the second time, but the counterpointing from Meraxis, the Matrix is activated. He wants to be able to get in there. The ultimate on Warbeast going to be expiring in just a second. It looks like, for the time being, Vote is content to actually retreat. They took down the Pebbles and just back on off without losing anything, even forced in a TP from the top lane. And Casey's just going to continue to free farm.
Yeah, definitely a little bit in favor of Vote there. Meanwhile, as we said, TDL and Moon Queen did continue their farm in the top and bottom lanes. And if we actually compare TDL and Moon Queen's farm right now, not too far apart. TDL does have the edge, but it's only 50 GPM trailing by Moon Queen, so they're both doing a good job of keeping up.
Yeah, right now it looks like both teams are really just trying to bank everything into their 2 main gankers, the Pebbles and the Fade. And while the 2 hard carries, of course, do get their farm up. Now, which one of these heroes are going to farm better? I mean, of Runedak's TDL versus just a bouncing Glaive's Moon Queen?
They both farm very fast. They both have the ability to clear out stacks, ancients, all of that very, very quickly. I would just say that Moon Queen is a little bit inferior of a carry compared to the TDL, especially how each of the lineups are composed. As I said, they don't have too much AoE on the Hellborn to stop the Ophelia pushes, and then just lineup versus lineup, and then on top of that, the Ophelia to counter a lot of that Moon Queen damage.
Top lane. Meraxis in some troubles. The Keg's coming out. The Matrix activated. The Moon Finale as well, though, and Moon Queen going to bring that one home. Keizu puts himself to 1-0-1 now, and getting very close to overtaking Dark Lady.
Right. Still no pushes mounted by Ophelia. I did say they have low AoE. I do want to see those pushes coming out. And I don't think they have too much of an answer for it on that Hellborn team. They have quite a number of ways to deal with a War Beast, a Moon Queen, and even a Fade right now. And NG's still not his level 6. I do want to see some pushes coming out because I think they'd be very effective in them.
Oh, top lane. Meraxis actually in some trouble again. The stomp coming out right there. But Z-Freak pressing on as the ultimate is activated. One more Moonbeam. And indeed, Keizu is going to help Z-Freak get another kill. Meraxis dying 3 times now, having a very rough time in this top lane.
For sure. One thing about comparing TDL versus Moon Queen is that Moon Queen can be a little bit more effective in that early game, how active she can be with that Moonbeam cooldown.
A big turnaround here mid as they were trying to get the kill onto Fade, but actually the port's coming in from 3 members of Vote, and they actually turned it around and grabbed 2 of the orange players. Glacius and Pebbles were not able to combo down that Fade in time, and in fact paid for it with their lives.
Yeah, Vote doing an excellent job of being mobile right now and taking over that early game. I thought Orange was looking beautiful, especially that level 6 support versus level 3 NG, what have you. But Bubbles, got his TP as soon as he hit 6. I think he even picked it up at level 5 when he did his first gank towards mid. And they've just been collapsing upon mid lane over and over right now, building up that advantage. TDL and Moon Queen now neck and neck. I was going to say, Moon Queen has a tendency to go more stat items, more early game type items at the start of the game, whereas TDL typically just, rushes that Battle Fury, phase boots on the way, something like that. So she's definitely a little bit more effective in that early game. But, we were looking at maxed out Dark Blades here on TDL. Level 6 Ophelia about to hit level 7, so I wouldn't discount Orange from taking back this game.
Yeah, in the mid lane, that's where we have seen the majority of the kills here, and you've really just got to wonder how much of that is a little bit of overextension from Orange Esports. I mean, they know that there's a tower right there. They know that Gary Johnson has been very, very willing to try to come and get those kills, and I understand.
Meanwhile, bot lane, they're shaping up to try to kill Fade here. Do they have a sentry as well? Nobody's getting silenced. It shouldn't even matter.
Yeah. Walked right down, and WTF going to bring that one home. The power of those Dark Blades actually showing right there, and now it looks like they're going to be mounting a push, what you've been asking for.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised to see 2 towers dropping here. He's got 2 creeps already. They have a siege unit wave. Fade is down. Top lane, Marax is being initiated upon again. Looks like it's going to be a little bit of a counter push scenario here with Warbeast joining the team top lane. What's the status of Moon Queen's ulti? Moon Queen still has her ulti up. Warbeast still has ulti. All of the ultis are up on both teams here. So, yeah, they're still going hard. I doubt they'd be able to take more than 1 tower here for VOTE, though. They're starting a little bit late compared to the momentum that Orange already has on this bottom lane.
Yeah, and well, there is actually a second push going on mid there. Wang Wang on the Pebbles. He's trying to get that one down, but he's actually not walking in there to auto-attack that tower.
Of the Fade, of the potential Bubbles port, and he's doing a good job being safe there.
Fade actually is bottom as the Ophelia's gift does go out right there, but not going to be enough to save herself as the counter TPs come in from Sender and from Bubbles. So a nice job getting the kill onto Ophelia right there, but they did lose towers in bottom and middle lanes. Only got 1 in return.
Right, they only got 1 in return, and Ophelia death really doesn't matter. Once she hits level 7, she's pretty damn effective no matter what. Pebbles, also to note, very close to his portal key now. Looked like, VOTE kept tearing into that middle lane. Pebbles, took 3 deaths, but he has his steam boots, and he's a lot closer to his portal key than Fade. Fade is actually 2,100 gold away. Pebbles, meanwhile, 400.
Yeah, that's a very, very big deal, and especially with losing something like that bottom tier 2 tower, what they did just deny, they lose map control, and unless they're able to get sufficient wards, as Pebbles is going to have free reign of the map to really do as he pleases, picking off a lot of these squishy heroes. The Engineer, the Fade, very easy to get. The Bubbles and the Moon Queen might even fall as well, so...
Not to mention the map control they're beginning to establish with all of the bottom towers removed, the mid tower also being taken away. So, yeah, it seems to be looking good for them.
I agree that they're probably going to be in pretty good shape, as Pebbles is going to be picking that up in just another 200 gold. VOTE not giving them the time of day, though. They say, we're just going to go and take that tower.
Up. Yeah, it does have her ulti up, and she's on the prowl, scoping out 3 members of the Legion team right here.
Glacius just was delivered a Word of Revelation. It looks like there's going to be a big team fight. The Glacial Downpour coming out, but immediately killed by Sky. So the Moon Finale as well, but the combo onto Keizu. Keizu in some trouble as Dark Lady is going to be able to take her out. Energy Field right there, trying to section off a good area. Z-Freak wants to come back in and try to deal with that Dark Lady who's trapped inside of the Kelp Field for the time being. In comes the Fate. Is he going to be able to land the Burning Shadows? Dark Lady with the charging strikes up very, very soon here. Charges, but will it be far enough? The Shell Surf coming in, and Dark Lady looks like she might be able to get out of there as Fade's trying to chase her down. Phase Boots activated, but no, Dark Lady is going to be able to get out of there. And Pebbles now with that portal key does have enough mana for another combo in about, well, no, he's just going to go ahead and use it on the creeps right there. And so what happened in that team fight? I mean, who really got the better end of that?
Well, I mean, they sort of initiated each other pretty similar. Initially, Ophelia's creeps, I forget which 2 heroes, but caught a couple of heroes on the side of that mid tower. Glacius followed up with a Tundra Blast, but I mean, they do have a lot more AoE ultis, a nice team fight presence here coming out for the Hellborn team. But in the end, I still think Orange got the upper hand. Their carry lived, Moon Queen dropped, Fade still a while away from her portal key, and Pebbles has his core. So although it was a 2-for-1 trade-off, I think the momentum, a little bit in Orange's favor from that fight still. And they saved mid-tower.
Yeah, saving mid-tower, of course, great for map control, and of course not giving the other team any money. But now VOTE looking like they want to press into that one again. Keizu going for that Helm of the Dominator right now, or excuse me, Whispering Helm, and it actually looks like they're going to move in toward Kongor right now. Can they take Kong right now?
Oh, definitely. I mean, they have Warbeast. He's known for being able to take Kongor with pretty much one other hero as soon as he has Abyssal Skull. It does take a little bit of time, but yeah, they have double Life Leech coming out. They have Abyssal Skull. They have Helm of the Dominator finished on Keizu. Easily.
All right, now worth noting that there was just a little bit of counter ward going down right there. So Legion does know that their ward near the Kongor pit was just counter warded. They should have an inclination that there's a Kongor attempt going on right now, but it doesn't look like they're going to respond as Pebbles is down here.
Ultis are still down for about 20 more seconds on Ophelia and Glacius. Meanwhile, Hellborn, outside of Moon Queen, her ulti's up in 10. They're ready to go, so I think they just have to let this one fall.
Yeah, it is going to fall, and Minotaur's actually coming in right there. They tried to get something happening, but actually both those Minotaurs going to lose their lives now. Well, actually, both Minotaurs and the Vagabond leader, so they weren't able to snag the Aegis kill, which would, of course, have been very, very big, but giving up all 3 of your minions and 300 gold to the opposing team, was it worth the gamble?
I mean, if he pulled it off, definitely. I mean, he had a pretty good setup there. I mean, he'll recover, but I don't know. It's just one of those plays you make. You're trying to make that big play, trying to, stop them from getting that token advantage. And one could say not, obviously, because he didn't succeed, but that's 20/20 hindsight.
There you go. All right, so let's take a look at some items coming out here. Pebbles, of course, has finished up that portal key. Ophelia working with that Ring of Sorcery, going the build that Chessie is so fond of. She's probably going to be going into something like a more completed boots relatively soon, or maybe an Astrolabe, we'll see. Glacius doing his ward thing. Mirax is with a bottle and steam boots, now sitting at 440 gold, and does not have a portal key of his own just yet. Dark Lady finished up those phase boots and the Rune Cleaver now, so she's going to be farming very, very well. And both teams looking like they're going to go for another tower trade. Vote going to be going for the bottom tier 1, whereas Orange looks like they're going to have a very good shot at taking this mid tier 2 tower. Going to be going in there. The glyph actually going to be activated as Bubble Shell Surf going to be going out. And it looks like the Hellborn going to try to defend this. Will they be able to get the deny? And yes, they do. So the tower does get denied, but that's now 4 outer towers denied. Mid and bottom lanes completely lost so far for Vote.
Oh, and Warby's ulting, but actually only using his wolves to try to dive this Glacius behind the tower. Looks like he actually might get it. Poor Glacius is getting run down.
Oh no, the Hellhound's going to go back the other direction.
Oh,
that's a little bit rough, but nice job from Shiyu, dude. Doing the little juke and jive, hiding right there, and now Vote going to turn their sights toward this middle tier 1 tower, which it looks like they should be able to get this time. Keizu probably going to bring that one home. Actually, Hellborn getting credit for that one, but all the same, just spreading the gold out just a little bit more. Keizu now at 427 gold per minute, about 30 behind this Dark Lady, but she does have that token of life, so maybe feeling a little bit more confident.
Behind Shrunken right now, which I think she needs to get as soon as possible when you're looking at facing against that TDL silence, the Pebbles initiation. I mean, the sooner she can grab that, the better. And she's very, very close here.
Very, very close indeed. So once that Shrunken Head comes out, a lot of the ability of the Hellborn team to really get in there is going to be gone. But actually opening up right here onto the Ophelia, the Fade, as well as pretty much the entire Hellborn team going to be turning their attention to her. And the Kelp Field being used there, not quite able to get anything done, though. And the Hellborn team sticking around. The Burning Shadows is going to miss right there. And the Taint Soul going to be coming out onto Fade right there. In comes the combo onto Fade, and everything going off right now. The Energy Field as well as the Moon Finale. And actually, Orange eSports is being absolutely demolished right here. Miraxis, the only one left alive, and it looks like War Beast. Well, Skyzo going to get that kill. They're going to get the tower as well. And Vote just absolutely demolished them in that team fight.
Yeah, I mean, they were down Ophelia. Maybe they were expecting Vote not to suspect their initiation. They tried to grab in, get a quick combo off, but it just wasn't enough. Moon Queen still had her ulti up. Bubbles did not have his Kelp Field, but it didn't seem to matter.
Oh, yeah,
I thought Miraxis played fantastically at the end there. He saved his ulti for what seemed like a perfect moment. He got his, what is that even called? His Quake off onto 3 or 4 heroes there and built up a full ulti, but it's only level 1. What is a level 2 ulti? I think he could have actually returned it and gotten 1 or 2 kills. But
yeah, that team fight was so chaotic, but you gotta really respect the presence of mind of players that in the middle of that, they're not just casting their abilities on whatever they can get their hands on. They're still thinking about it within that 0.01 seconds. That they're saying, okay, if I can do this, then I might be able to turn around and get a kill. I'm gonna die, but might be able to turn it around right there. So Nice job. Wasn't able to that time, but maybe next time. XXF not having the greatest of games so far. I mean, 0-6-1. He was in that suicide role, so very, very hard position to play. Of course, going up against that Moon Queen, but doing his best here. And so Orange Esports now finds himself down 10,000 gold and experience here at 20 minutes into this game. What do they really need to do? I mean, they've got this Dark Lady, but how can they get back into this game?
Orange needs to finish up their portal key on Meraxis so that at least they have a little bit of initiation advantage, which actually, initiation advantage I think is a little bit weird to say against a Fade, who pretty much always seems to be able to get the edge on your team, given that she can tree walk. I don't know, it honestly is tough. We're looking at a Shrunken Head that's close to completion here on War Beast as well. Moon Queen actually opted away from going Shrunken first, instead going Geos, but she does have that token, so it shouldn't matter as much on her end. Geos will still aid her a lot in putting out a ton of damage in these fights.
Yeah, the Geometer's Bane going to be useful for a couple of things. That will cleanse the Silence, that will cleanse something like the Thunder Blast or the Ice Imprisonment. But, I mean, actually mid lane, Dark Lady can be coming in here, and they are pushing up this lane again. Fate is there. What's this Fate going to do?
Probably just trying to scout things out carefully.
Yeah.
They don't have any true sight down for her right now in that mid lane.
She wants to get something. The Burning Shadows as well as the Coal come in right there, but Swindleball is just playing around with them a little bit.
He was running out of time, and he just wanted to get a quick turn off on him.
Yeah. Top lane going down right there. Pebble's actually going to bring that one home.
By Geometers, Moon Queen, and a War Beast. Nothing they can do to stop it. Port's coming in. Are they looking to fight? It's only a Glacius.
Yeah, there was an invisible Meraxis there as well, but those minions, the illusions there from Moon Queen, able to clean that one up. And Keizu now at 529 gold per minute. I mean, you talk about heroes that can have absolutely explosive farm. Moon Queen should be one of the ones that comes to mind. 529 GPM right now. Keizu looking absolutely dominant, and you can tell he is a huge part of the reason that VOTE now finds himself with nearly an 11,000 gold lead.
Oh, for sure, for sure. He is snowballing out of control. As long as you can get past that early laning phase for Moon Queen, she does have a very powerful farm. Her nukes are of great assistance in those early team fights, and I actually think she's really strong. Her laning, people say it's weak, but I really just don't think it's that bad. It's a lot easier to gank for her than a number of other hard carries, given that short cooldown beam.
Yeah, that cooldown beam we talked about a little bit earlier, but, you know, since they've buffed Moon Queen's beam like that, yeah, she's a lot more viable as kind of a gank assist hero, being able to set up other things, and we saw it up in that top lane. Even with somebody that's not really the strongest gank hero himself, War Beast, as long as Moon Queen was able to do a little bit of harassment, that 1 second stun was long enough for Z-Freak to come in and help put those hero kills in.
Well, yeah, but they did have an engineer as well for that.
Semantics. Engineer schmengineer. It was all the Z-Freak.
Right, right.
So right now, taking a look at items on the other side of the table, Fade with that portal key is actually stalking Meraxis right now. Wants to make something happen. Fade also with an eye, so she's going to be able to scout any rev voids that might be down, maybe do a little bit of counter warding herself.
Oh, no.
They're trying to actually pick somebody off right here as the minion's going to be coming in from War Beast, and there's actually a minion battle going on right now as Sender actually is doing a little bit of baiting. What is going on right here?
Well, they're going to pick off the creeps either way. I think they noticed that Meraxis didn't have any mana. They know that Orange was not going to be looking to start a team fight without, you know, one of their primary tank heroes. He is closing out his portal key to only 300 gold off. If there's a moment for them to fight, it would be shortly after TDL is finishing her Shrunken Head here and Meraxis gets his PK. And TDL is only 500 off. At that point, even though they're down, I think that's their window to try to, you know, maybe catch VOTE off guard and initiate a fight as soon as possible.
For sure. Speaking of Shrunken Heads, one also being finished up on War Beast over here, in addition to his Steam Boots and his Abyssal Skull. Going to make him very, very strong. And one more Shrunken Head right there as Keizu actually finishing one up on Moon Queen.
I hope to see a Bulwark coming out soon. I notice he has a stout shield. I don't know how early he had that in this game here, the Iron Buckler there. I'm not sure if he used that as part of his jungling or why he picked it up or when he picked it up. I actually didn't notice. He very well might have used it as part of his jungling strategy, which maybe could work. I'm not really typically a fan of it, though.
Yeah, certainly an item that you don't see too often. Astrolabe's being picked up on both Ophelia as well as Engineer now at this point. And
he should have a Bulwark finish as well at 2,000 gold.
Warbeast you're referring to?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. So we'll see if he does, in fact, pick that one up or maybe go something a little bit different. That'll the souls will definitely be very nice for pushing, but maybe something like a brutalizer that he could be saving for, something that might be able to lock down Dark Lady in those team fights, also a possibility.
Yeah, maybe. I really like the demonic first. I think it synergizes so well because Warbeast already puts out has a high base damage compared to his howl and his passive. The attack speed when you do finally decide to go brutalizer just works perfectly with the hero. Not to mention when you have a lower base attack time, like when he uses metamorphosis, attack speed does more for your hero. So that's why demonic just goes so well with Warbeast in general.
Yeah, a very nice item. So we'll see what C Freak in fact chooses. On the other side, Pebble's picking up an Arcana here, so could be looking for a Hellflower of his own relatively soon. And Miraxis, of course, has just picked up that portal key. Dark Lady going to be finishing up her Shrunken Head in about another 250 gold right here. So that's going to be very useful. Skyzo on the bubbles also has a push stick here, in addition to his Mana Tube and Neophyte's Book. So going to be going for a Cyclone stick, a Storm Spirit.
Right. Vote doing an excellent job of using that eye to assert map control dominance right now, and keep seeing that golden experience gap grow further and further. A lot of times when you see one team greatly in the lead, they don't do the best job map controlling. It almost seems like that lead remains static over, even like a 10-minute window. But they're doing a great job of steadily, asserting pressure and increasing that gap.
Yeah, and Kongor actually going to fall right here for the second time in this game. Vote brings that one home. The Legion team, once again, either caught unawares or just knowing that they really couldn't do anything. And a Puzzle Box being picked up there for Warbeast.
Ooh, Puzzle Box. Yeah, definitely a lot of illusions, a lot of units coming out here from the Hellborn team now.
So, I mean, what do you think about that pick? It's great for pushing. Those units are very
it's all
fast.
right. I still would have rather seen the Bulwark and just a more conventional, just straight carry Warbeast, but it's never a bad item on him, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. And of course, once that gets to level 3, in addition to the eye that they already have, they'll have 2 forms of just continuous counterwarding to once again reassert that map dominance that you've seen. I mean, since Fade has picked up this eye, Swindleman's has been doing really almost nothing other than just walking around and just making sure to counterward absolutely everything he sees.
Yeah, if they have no vision, they're not going to feel confident farming. If they're not feeling confident farming, they're not going to scale as well as the Hellborn team. So I think it's fine.
Yeah, we actually see Fade coming over here right now, and I would not be surprised for him to actually drop the Deep Shadows here on top of this statue. And that's
he doesn't even need to, though, because he is ultied. He does have vision on top of that.
Oh, that's actually true. Okay. Yeah, he's just been walking around and dropping Deep Shadows on top of every high ground thing that he can find, grabbing that vision and then just walking up there and counter-warding the stuff. So I really have to respect Swindlemons for doing that. And as a result, he's not, of course, getting very many kills. He's not picking any of the supports off or anything like that, but the map control that they have, you can see the amount of rev wards and counter wards down here for the Hellborn team around the map. They're just making sure that there's zero vision for the Legion, which there is not. So now they're just very scared to do anything but really come out of their base.
Yeah, Fade is a dirty hero. I wish I could say respect anyone for using it, but it is a dirty hero. There's absolutely nothing you can do to counter that. I'd say that clear vision really bothers me on that ulti.
Yeah.
On top of the, it's such a dirty combination.
Yeah, the Tornado right there going to be used as an anti-siege weapon, but even though they were able to finally clear out all of those units, the base tower right there took 85% damage in that engagement. That was one creep wave push. The Legion team not confident to go ahead and make an actual jump onto Moon Queen, onto anybody else.
I hope you don't commit too far here, because Puzzle Box is down.
No.
Wait, cooldown. Moon Queen is caught out of position. She should still have the token Storm Spirit onto her.
Yeah, and Miraxis actually was in there, in the thick of it. The Shrunken Head, as well as the ultimate being activated on Warbeast right there. Dark Lady just casting that Taint Soul, wants to wait until some of these other spells are down, but Ophelia's gift already being used right there. And now the Hellborn team knows that a lot of their cooldowns are down. The Shrunken Heads, as well as the Puzzle Box, the ultimate from Warbeast, and they're wise to just retreat right now. Moon Queen makes it out of there toward the middle lane and is in fact going to just get back to farming.
Yeah, Z-Freak sort of just used his Shrunken Head there at the end for no reason. Miraxis' ulti, his stun was already down. He sort of popped it, I think, just out of nerves a little bit. Maybe he was just trying to finish off the tower. before they got out and just do it safely and run away. But yeah, a little bit of a wasted shrunken. Defense tower is now low enough where it's pretty much only useful as a bait. Next time they come up with their illusions, with their puzzle box, it's definitely going to fall.
Now, Z-Freak is up here in the top lane, almost looking like he wants to make something happen here on that dark lane, but not actually going to be making a commitment right there, as Z-Freak is going to back off. The Thunderblast coming out here in the middle lane, though, as Thalborn, once again, looking to maybe put a little bit more pressure onto this base, as they know they have that Aegis on Moon Queen, and with her ability to just fire away at those towers, the bouncing glaives. Actually, Mirax is going to be coming in right there. The Storm Spirit applied once again, and Moon Queen pushed on out of there. So Skyzo dedicating himself exclusively to making sure that Keizu is safe and happy. And you know what? Skyzo doing a very good job right there.
Her Geometer's Bane is still up. Mid tower taking a little bit of damage. I'd honestly push top lane if I were them right here. They already have the tower pretty much dropped, but they can do whatever they want with this kind of advantage.
Yeah, with this advantage that you're talking about. Actually, Miraxis comes in once more, immediately drops that Quake, and Moon Queen now going to be...
It looks like they're almost trying to bait the Kelp Field, bait some of the initiation from the Hellborn, get them to waste some of their cooldowns, and then initiate.
Yeah.
Miraxis is blinking in, but he's not committing.
This reminds me of something I saw in a game last week where they had an Ophelia on the team. They would use the Ophelia send back to base. Which one is that? Ophelia's Judgment. Send back to base on the Hammerstorm. The Hammerstorm would blink in and drop a hammer throw, the stun, and then immediately just go back to base. This Hammerstorm did that like 9 times in a row during a push.
Oh, man.
I was just watching the game, and I was so frustrated watching that game.
Did they ever take the bait and try to initiate on Hammerstorm, waste cooldowns, and get jumped?
No. He just did it like 9 times, and then the other team was finally just like, well, Hammerstorm is in base. Okay, well, we're going to kill you now. And then they did.
I see.
It was really annoying to watch that. It's like, and Hammerstorm's coming in! No, he's back in the base. And Hammerstorm's coming in once again! Oh, no. Never mind.
Constant tease.
Yep. So Z-Freak actually still level 15. He's been level 15 for like 6 minutes now. He has not really been doing a whole lot of farming since he was able to pick up that puzzle box. It's now level 2, but most of the farm on this team going to Keizu, who now has that Dancing Blade picked up.
Yeah, and edging on 600 GPM here. Did he actually just finish off his...
Wingbow?
Yeah. It looks like what's flying him on Courier, right? Oh, the initiation.
Oh, never mind. Initiation coming in right there, right as I move the camera. And Mirax is actually in some trouble, but it looks like Fade actually going to drop the Bound Eye. They're on the ground, but Dark Lady now in some trouble. In comes the turret. Sender actually doing a lot of work right there. The Kelp Field onto Ophelia, and the Keg going to finishing him off. The Skeleton Kings are in there trying to lock down War Beast, but there's nothing left for Orange Esports. As
double
down
damage
goes.
rune on Keizu as well.
Yeah.
All of the heroes without buyback left for Orange. That's got to be a dead base right here. I don't even think they can...
Oh, yeah. I mean,
stop the mega creeps from popping up if they wanted.
you look at the glaives right here, and the amount of damage that they're doing is they're bouncing around. The racks going down, and even before the racks go down, they're going to be starting to put damage here onto the towers, the huts, everything. That's why you got to be afraid of the Moon Queen in the super late game. You lose just a couple of heroes, she's able
Well, not
to
just
just
the Moon
carry
Queen,
your
you're
base.
looking at the War Beast
Yeah,
as well.
true.
A deadly combination there for the base push.
Very, very true. So it's looking like lights out here for Orange Esports Malaysia. We'll see if they try to make one more stand as Dark Lady's up in about another 20 seconds, but already there are mega creeps in this game. GG's coming out here for Orange Esports Malaysia, and it looks like Gary Johnson's going to take the first game in this 2-game series.
Yeah, good game overall. A little bit questionable. I'm surprised they actually wound up taking the Pebbles over the Fade. I just consider Fade to be a tier higher than Pebbles in priority. Just the overall versatility and cheesiness of that ultimate. Pretty much guaranteed initiation, guaranteed map control. A very strong mid lane hero. They did a great job early on, Glacius and Pebbles actually controlling that mid lane. But once they got the support coming in, I mean, just sort of snowballed out of hand.
All right. Well, guys, this is, once again, this is a replay cast from DreamHack Winter. This is the group stages, so static 2, not a best-of-3 series, so whether they win or lose, there's going to be 2 games in these series, and we've actually got about 5 series we've picked out to cast for the weekend, and we haven't seen these games, and so we're bringing them to you. I've been your casting host, Beef, and join me as Emperor, a.k.a. Bryce. Any shout-outs before we go to a very quick break and get the second game set up?
Yep. One moment here. Let me just grab the replay number.
Bryce, any shout-outs before we take a very quick break?
Shout-outs. Sorry. No shout-outs. Just shout-out to Mew. Shout-out to Toronto. Anyone else watching my stream, thank you for tuning in.
All right, guys, we're going to go to a very, very quick break while we get the second game set up. Thanks for watching. Stick right here. Twitch.tv/ComplexityHon, Twitch.tv/Domain of Pain, wherever you're watching. We'll be right back.